If you fly British Air business class to London, but you're tempted to try first, you might be wondering if it's really worth the extra thousands. I've got the tea. Last month, we flew first class to London, and in this video, I am comparing British Air first class versus business in detail. We're talking seats, services, lounges, dining, and of course, overall experience. Most important, I am comparing how British Airways markets its first class versus the reality. Is it truly as marketed? You're here because I give it to you straight. I am not a paid spokesperson. I'm a regular traveler just like you, sharing my experience. You want legit, transparent feedback in order to make a smart buying decision. And that is exactly what you're gonna get. I'm dishing pros, cons, differences, and of course the all-important price. Because if you're gonna spend thousands more, you wanna know if it's worth it. Grab a pen and paper and let's do this. Okay, ladies, as you know, my husband and I fly to London annually. My husband's British, so I call it flying back to the motherland. Because San Diego, where I live, is not a major hub, British Airlines has never offered a first class cabin for the times when we've wanted to book a flight. So we've always flown business class, which is fine. This year, they unexpectedly swapped in an aircraft with a first class cabin. We grabbed 2 seats faster than you could say, what? Let's start with the comparisons, beginning with the basics, what you're booking. The business and first class cabins are measurably different. In business class, depending on the type of aircraft, the cabin usually consists of 56 to 97 business class seats. The seats are fully lie flat in what I call a private pod. Now, British Airlines markets this as a suite, but that's really just marketing spin. It's a pod. Your private pod has a sliding door that closes to shield you from the noise and disruption. It is nice to have, of course. The seats are 20 to 22 inches wide depending on the aircraft and have a lie flat seat of 6 feet long or 72 inches. It's important to note, especially for my taller people, the seat/bed, when it's laying flat, terminates at the bottom into like a triangle, so it's less comfortable to put your feet. My husband is 6'3" and his feet kind of hang off the side, and which isn't really comfortable. At 5'2", I don't have an issue with it, but it's important to note that it does do that. For me, at a very petite 5'2", the pod is a little bit squishy. I can sit and sleep with reasonable comfort, but I definitely have to maneuver a bit to get comfortable, and there's not a ton of storage space. They provide a mattress pad, blanket, and pillow. I call them prison blankets. Thin, itchy, and honestly substandard. I always take a cashmere wrap with me instead. The mattress is a thin, quilted pad, which is basically used as a thin layer between you and the communal seat. Think toilet seat cover, for lack of a better word. Thin, but it'll do. Food and drink service, of course. You're given a menu of all the available selections you may enjoy during the flight, and you're served at predetermined meal times. Ceramic dishes, not plastic, but they're fine. They also offer access to a galley of snacks that you can enjoy at any time. It's usually sandwiches, cookies, chocolates, waters, that sort of thing. A minimal toiletry bag with a few small tubes of hand lotion, chapstick, toothpaste, and toothbrush. The business class toiletry bag, you guys, I have to be honest, is so bare bones and skimpy. They'd almost be better off not giving you anything at all. It's really chintzy. To note, I will share with you, never have I ever gone on a business class seat with British Airlines and had it completely cleaned and ready for the next passenger, which would be me. There's always something, from an empty water bottle, a wrapper, plastic from the last guest's pillow cover. This seems to be an ongoing issue with British Airlines. I've seen several complaints from previous customers noting about the lack of cleanliness when they get on the flight. Not good. Lounge access at departure and arrival. I can only speak for San Diego since that's where we live. Lounge access is actually a joke. It's a shared lounge with business and first class passengers from other airlines, and there is always, without exception, a huge long line outside the lounge like you're at Cheesecake Factory. We always skip it. It's not very luxurious. In my opinion, the business class experience on British Airlines isn't exclusive, nor is it particularly luxurious. Think of coach as Motel 6 and business class as a Marriott. It's fine, it's better than a Motel 6, but it's not the Four Seasons. I also might add that they do absolutely nothing to stop the coach cabin from going back and forth and using the business class restrooms. You're left jockeying for restroom access the entire flight. That's not cool. The service is fine, the crew are normally friendly and helpful, but I wouldn't call it next level. on a scale of 1 to 10 for commercial international travel, I would give it a 6. Good from far, but far from good. Now let's talk first class. Flying from San Diego to Heathrow, the check-in, security, and gate process is exactly the same as business class. You're lumped into first business class priority for check-in, luggage, and security lines. There's literally no difference. Same with onboarding. Now, I dare say it's probably the same at other US hubs, but if you have flown business class British Air from someplace other than San Diego, please share below in comments if you've had a different experience. Once on board, you will enjoy a 1-2-1 or 1-1-1 configuration with only 6 to 8 seats in the first class cabin compared to the 56 to 97 in business class. So it's much more exclusive. Quiet, calming, much better. The seats are definitely more spacious, as is your assigned pod. I'd say it's about 30 to 35% more spacious than the business class pod, and it does make a difference. It's not mind-blowing, but it's definitely nicer for sure. It does feel roomier with side-to-side wider armrests and more surface area around you. Larger ottomans, which they claim you can dine across from another passenger, but y'all, that's a reach. There is no way my husband could squish his huge self into my pod and we could have dinner together. So just FYI. In business, the footwell, which does terminate into a triangle, feels snug. In comparison, in first class, you get a squared off open footrest with no tapering. There's more headroom, personal lighting features, and overall just a greater sense of physical and visual space. The wall around your pod is also taller and a bit more substantial than business. Next, you have what they call on-demand dining, meaning that you can order anything you like, anytime you like, from the menu, of course. No preset dining times. However, I will note that they do run out of many food options. My husband was told numerous times, "I'm sorry, sir, we are out of that." He eats a lot. Personalized concierge-like service. The flight crew from Heathrow to San Diego was eons above and beyond the flight crew from San Diego to Heathrow. Our Heathrow crew, especially Parveen, who was our assigned attendant, had the grace and refinement of a 5-star concierge. He was, in a word, impeccable, as were the other flight attendants in the first class cabin. They also offer turn-down service. When you're ready to sleep, you simply notify your flight attendant that you'd like to sleep, and they come and they make up your bed for you. They offer pajamas and upgraded amenities. The bedding is a bit better, I'd say 20 to 30% better, but it's not mind-blowing, I'm gonna be honest. They do offer pajamas, which we thought was slightly odd because you're either trying to change pajamas in your pod, which, I mean, come on, everybody can see if they're walking by, or you're trying to go into the restroom and change out of your clothes into pajamas in the restroom. I found that a bit odd, but be that as it may, they do offer pajamas. They do have, let me show you, a very nice toiletry kit with products from Elemis, which is a very nice high-end skin brand for maybe some of the gentlemen that aren't aware. My husband didn't know. And it's a nice enough cosmetic bag, y'all, that I'm definitely keeping it for travel. There was, exactly what you'd expect. There's the face mask, there's your little socks, which I always take my own socks because Pro Collagen Facial Mist, Collagen Moisturizer, all the good things that you would expect in a toiletry bag. So that was nice. And finally, the coup d'etat, access to the legendary CONCORDE room when flying out of Heathrow. That is the bomb. More on that later, as that one deserves a dedicated segment. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Food and experience. Business class meals are fine, typically 3 courses, pre-selected, decent wine list if you like wine. In first, it's marketed as dine on demand, meaning anything you like from the menu, anytime, upgraded wine and champagne, upgraded table service with white linens and fine china, caviar on select flights. Here's the deal on the service in first class, ladies. It was night and day between our outbound flight from San Diego to Heathrow and our inbound flight? Heathrow back home. It was like 2 totally different experiences, and if I had to base it only on our outbound flight, I would say it is definitely not worth it. Actually, our business class experiences were always better than the outbound flight. Let me tell you, despite marketing which says dedicated first class crew, they were clearly servicing both first class and business class passengers. They were rushed, harried, irritable. The entire flight, they were stomping like a herd of elephants back and forth between first class galley and business class. You literally had to get up, look around, and try and flag somebody down to get anything, even water. No one came up to introduce themselves to us. We were never given an overview of the ability to order anything at any time. We only knew because we knew. 0 times did staff ever come by to even check on us. And the cherry on the sundae, when we both asked to be awakened for breakfast before landing, you guessed it, we weren't. So when we both woke up on our own, flagged somebody down in order to get breakfast, we were told, "Oh, I'm so sorry, breakfast is over. We'll be landing shortly, but I can bring you a roll." On first class. On the return flight, it was an entirely different experience, and it was everything that you would expect a first class flight to be on British Air. Quiet, calm, refined staff who were clearly dedicated solely to first class. Our flight attendant immediately introduced himself, addressed us as "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Pelly," and it didn't hurt that he had the loveliest British accent. It was truly personalized, attentive, refined service at its finest from a flight perspective. All right, I'm gonna tell you about the Concorde Lounge. Flying out of Heathrow, first class provides a separate first class wing for check-in, fast-track immigration, access to the exclusive Concorde Room. Think a la carte dining, fine champagne, and private cabanas for resting. You check in at what they call the J Gate, which is located at the very furthest end. It's got vertical backlit wood with security at the entrance to ensure you've got a first class ticket. Once through, the noise and hassle of the airport melts away. There are a scant number of passengers leisurely walking to the check-in desk. Right next to check-in is security, which we just walked through. Again, there wasn't anyone in front of us. From there, we walked through a long, backlit hallway, through a first class lounge area, down another hallway where at the end was the front desk staff to the famed Concorde Lounge. The host welcomed us and escorted us in. The Concorde Room lives up to the hype. Large, beautifully appointed, with cozy seating areas of overstuffed soft sofas, calming lighting features and chandeliers, wait staff quietly attuning to each passenger. It is quiet, serene, and an absolute oasis from the rest of the airport. They offer an extensive menu rivaling the room service menu of most any 5-star hotel property. Think French omelets, smoked salmon, Belgian waffles, overnight oats with chia and fresh berries, a selection of fine teas, coffees, everything complimentary, served on fine china with white linen napkins and a refined waitstaff. It didn't suck. The entire experience flying out of Heathrow from the J Gate to the Concorde Room to the bespoke flight crew was exactly what first class should be, what you would expect, and worth every penny. Speaking of pennies, let's talk money, shall we? Business class. All right, business class typically runs anywhere from $4,000 to $6,500 per person round trip US to London. That's about right. Now, flying out of San Diego, we usually pay on average anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000, maybe $14,000 for 2 business class tickets. For first class, expect anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. I've even seen $25,000 per person, depending on the season and your departure city. We're San Diego, which again is not a major hub, so it's always going to be a little more expensive than if you're flying out of one of their typical major hubs. So yes, you're often paying at least double or more for first class tickets. So who should choose what? Listen, if you follow me, you know that I'm gonna say what you do with your money is your business, but here's my take on it. Choose business if you appreciate enhanced comfort and a lay-flat seat, you're not overly fussy with food service or ultra-luxe details like fine china, white linens, turn down, fewer passengers, and dedicated service. You don't mind dealing with airport chaos in the main hub, all in exchange for a much lower ticket price. Choose first if you value privacy, discretion, elegance, and all the little luxuries that contribute to an enhanced experience. If you appreciate the peace and serenity offered by access to the Concorde Lounge and personalized service. If you truly value and prioritize a seamless, start-to-finish experience that is as luxurious as you can if flying commercial. In short, when evaluating the price, do you personally feel that the juice is worth the squeeze? Does the extra expense feel worth it to you? For us, the answer is yes. as long as it's not $25,000 a person. I would never pay that. It's not worth it. But if it's, in the 20 to 23 for both of us range, for us personally, yes, that is worth it. We're luxury travelers who want to get there as seamlessly and hassle-free as possible, and we don't mind paying a little extra for that privilege. No, it's even better than flying first class to London, traveling in style. So don't miss my next video, what I wore in London and Paris. Have a great weekend, ladies, and I'll see you Tuesday. Take care.